What we're sitting on right now is the precipice of what the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab calls the fourth industrial revolution. And this is something that no one voted on. The citizens weren't asked what they wanted to, how they wanted to take part in this. This is kind of being foisted upon us. And there are players in this space like Elon Musk. He's the CEO of Tesla, also co-founder of Neuralink. We have Yuval Harari. He's a WEF advisor, a professor of history. Let's take a look at what the people in this space are talking about, just in case you haven't seen it. Take a listen.
Okay. You're working to build basically an interface to the brain.
Yeah. Electrode to neuron interface at a micro level.
Okay, what is it? Like, I'm gonna have like a plug in my head that's gonna fit into a hard drive? Like, or how does that work?
Yeah. A chip and a bunch of tiny wires.
This would be implanted surgically. And it would do what? Could you input? Could you download Jim?
Yes.
What
The long-term aspiration for Neuralink would be to achieve a symbiosis with artificial intelligence.
What we have seen so far, it's corporations and governments collecting data about where we go, who we meet, what movies we watch. The next phase is the surveillance going under our skin. COVID is critical because this is what convinces people to accept, to legitimize total biometric surveillance.
One of the things that I think is so essential to free and open societies is freedom of thought. And up until now, the conversation we've been having is around freedom of speech. Once we can access people's thoughts and access people's emotion, we have to create a space that enables people to think freely.
I mean, the idea of accessing people's thoughts, like Minority Report, you know, getting arrested for your thoughts and, you know, things that you might be thinking. We are not in a movie anymore, are we?
Surveillance underneath our skin sounds great.
Right.
Really awesome. Easy selling
Line
point on that one.
behind me.
Now, what would be really scary, these are people theorizing about this. We have obviously Elon Musk that has products he's working on. But what would be really scary is if governments got involved with this. And that's exactly what happened in the United States. We have Joe Biden signing an executive order just recently, and this is what it was called. Executive Order on Advancing Biotechnology and Biomanufacturing. This is at the White House website. Innovation for a Sustainable, Safe, and Secure American Bioeconomy. Now, when you read the mainstream reporting on this, it lays out these broad goals to beef up the biotech supply chain in the US and the manufacturing industry. But then when you look at this executive order, you start reading the actual text of it. Take a look at what this says. I'm going to read it right here. For biotechnology and biomanufacturing to help us achieve our societal goals, the United States needs to invest in foundational scientific capabilities. We need to develop genetic engineering technologies and techniques to be able to write circuitry for cells and predictably program biology in the same way in which we write software and program computers. Unlock the power of biological data, including through computing tools and artificial intelligence. There's those words again. We want to control biology.
I mean, I just read that and I think, you know, I remember when Zuckerberg was on, you know, the stand in front of it was the Congress or the Senate, and not to, you know, talk about age, but just watching all these senators and congressmen and women that are in an age where they barely know how to use email, trying to understand the power of social media. When I read that, I mean, you know, technology in cells and AI, and I imagine Joe Biden signing this thing. There's no part of me that thinks he has any understanding of what he just signed and how terrifying the power of that signature is by a man that does not even know what the heck we just read there. It's really shocking.
Absolutely. And to look no further than the prepositioning coming in the headlines, in 2016, Elon Musk co-founded a technology company called Neuralink. So shortly after, you started seeing headlines like this. Elon Musk unveils brain chip implant. It's like a Fitbit in your skull. And just in the beginning of 2022 here, this is the headline. Elon Musk says Neuralink hopes to start implanting brain chip in humans in 2022, later than he anticipated. So we're already supposed to be off and running on this thing. So what we've done really is race past what we have been told of the Internet of Things, you know, smartphones, smart thermostats, smart meters. And there's a section of society now pushing the Internet of Bodies. And again, no input from the general public. You're not having these elected officials vote on this. These are just, you know, really these ultra wealthy people kind of just going for it. And there's conversations that are also happening around this too. So we have a major, one of the top law professors in Australia is kind of theorizing, well, what's this going to do to law, this biotechnology advancement? And it's responsible for this headline. Take a listen to this. This is out of The Sun. Future criminals could be monitored by chips in their brains, experts claim. And so this thing is shaking up every section of society with these conversations. And it really looking at what we just experienced from governments, from big tech, and what they showed us during the COVID pandemic of how they censored people that didn't agree with certain narratives. The question for society is, do we really want to give further control to a similar class of people, often the same class of people, to have technology within our bodies? That is a conversation that we need to be a part of.
Yeah, quick answer, no. How about that? Yeah. How about that? Like, no, not down, not in, absolutely insane. And it's really what this all comes down to, right, is this battle now for humanity. You know, I was thinking about, as we were talking about this story earlier this week, remember the old story of John Henry growing up. I don't know how many people remember that, you know, legend of John Henry, you know, who could, you know, cut through a coal mine fast, and then the big machine comes in. It's the story about how he races the machine. And it really feels like in many ways that sort of metaphorical story we're now experiencing in that. It is between AI and humanity and some group trying to mix the two. Really crazy times. And the fact that the president is now sort of signing off billions of dollars of our government, the same government that want to track us through cell phones, now they want to get under our skin and even into our brains. Man, I mean, as JP Sears was just saying, and, you know, I think about my children, and that has got me getting up very early every morning thinking about what can I do to stop this.